Manx Radio Sport.
And a good evening to you and welcome to Classifieds for the 1st of February. Coming up, we have all the scores for football, hockey and rugby, as well as previews with Dave O'Johnson, and we speak to Tyler Hannay about his recent step forward. But first, let's have a look at the classified results. And we start in Canada Life Men's Premier League. St George's 7, Foxdale 2, Ayr United 1, Rushen 3, Onken 0, St Mary's 5, Laxey 5, Marown 3, Ramsey against St John's, match postponed due to unfit pitch. Peel 6, Union Mills 2, Arden and Druggen combination 2, Maloo against Castletown, match postponed, unfit pitch. Governors Athletic 2, Colby 7. Douglas Royal 2, Ramsey Youth Centre and All Boys 5. Pulrose United 2, Douglas and District 0. Canada Life combination 1. Rushen United v Ayr United. Ayr United unable to field a team, so home walkover to Rushen. St Mary's 3, Onken 2. Marown 1, Laxey 6. St John's United against Ramsey, match postponed, unfit pitch. Union Mills 4, Peel 5. Arden Druggen combination 2. Douglas Athletic 3, Douglas High School and All Boys 1. Colby v Governors Athletic. Governors Athletic not able to field the team, home walkover to Colby. Ramsey Youth Centre and All Boys 11, Douglas Royal 0. Douglas and District 1, Pulrose United 3. Michael United against Jims, awaiting result. In rugby, North Regional 2 Northwest, Douglas 17, Burchants 25. Counties 3, Adients, Lance and Cheshire. Vagabonds 12, Cleethorpes Rose 14. And in the Manx Shield, Ramsey 51, Western Vikings 22. In hockey in the Men's Premier League, Castletown A 3, Valkyries B 1. Backers A 1, Vikings A 0. Harlequins A 3, Valkyries A 1, and we are looking for the Harlequins A goal scorers. If you have them, 166 177. Castletown A 3, Valkyries A 0 in the Ladies Premier League. Ladies Premier League continuing, Vikings A 4, Backers A 2. Harlequins A 3, Ramsey A 0. Men's Division 1, Vikings B 1, Backers B 1. Castletown B v Harlequins, a late result. Backers C against Ramsey A late result. Ladies Division 1, Castletown B2, Valkyries B1. Castletown C1, Castletown D2. Vikings B against Backers B, a late result. In Men's Division 2, Valkyries C4, Vikings C4. Castletown C1, Backers Colts 2. In Ladies Division 2, it's Harlequins B1, Ramsey B4. Castletown E1, Valkyries C8. And Vikings C1, Vikings C2, Backers C1. In the Mixed Under-15s League, Harlequins 5, Ramsey Rogues and Rascals 1. Castletown Savers 2, Valkyries 7. And then the late pushback, which will just be kicking off now, is at King William's College, and that is between Backers and Vikings B. So we will go to Tony very shortly, but first we are going to hear from pro cycler Tyler Hannay. Believed he took a big step forward in his career in 2024 as he prepares to ride for his new team this season. He explains how good he feels to have clarity on his plans after previous teams folded and at the end of last year's campaign.
Yeah, it's been great. It gives you the motivation to wake up and get out the door in the morning, especially over here with the Manx weather. It can be brutal to say the least, but yeah, it's been great. And also knowing the races, the countries that we're travelling to, it really gives you a new lease of life and makes you put in those hard yards.
Coming from last season as well, you had some notable performances, and one of those your first ever UCI stage victory out of the Tour of Poyang Lake as well in China. So how much do you feel you developed as an individual rider during last season that you can maybe take into 2025?
I think I took quite a big step up last year, obviously winning the race, but also just mentally as well, as much as physically, just learning things, learning about myself when maybe there were times were a bit tough and your backs were against the wall. But yeah, definitely doing some of the higher caliber, high quality races definitely brings you on as a rider, and doing races against the professionals that you see on TV does definitely help you and definitely gives you that inch in your legs.
A new team, a new challenge, as you've already called it as well. So what particular personal objectives do you have in mind, if any, for this season?
Yeah, definitely have a few aims. You know, I think you need aims to kind of give you that motivation when times are a bit tough, and also to help you with that killer instinct. So I'd definitely like to win as much as possible, or do as well as possible. I know it's slightly vague, but obviously, like you say, it's new challenges, new coaches, new bunch of riders coming up against, and a new bunch of riders that are on my team. So it's just to try to do the best for the moment now until we get into the races. Definitely just try to do the best as possible, as best as I can. So, but yeah, obviously to win is a great feeling, and obviously I've got that taste last year, so I would like to replicate that again if possible.
Rob Pritchard there speaking to Tyler Hannay. Let's turn to football and we'll say good evening. We heard from him in full time. Let's speak to him now fully. Good evening, Tony Mepham.
Good evening, Ben. Bit chilly out there, isn't it? And it's gone a little bit dark now. So, yeah, we'll get this done and then we can go home and maybe have a pint later.
Absolutely. Let's start in the Canada Life Men's Premier League. Let's start at your game you went to today, St George's against Foxdale, 7-2 to St George's.
Yeah, it's a big game this for St George's. We touched on it last night because when you looked at the league tables this morning, it was Onken in 11th place with 12 points. St George's in 12th with 11 points, 12 for Onken, and then for Moran they'd got 3 points. But what a turnaround it is now, because now St George's go 2 points ahead of Onken, because St George's beat Foxdale 7-2, and it didn't take long. I was just getting a hot cup of tea, to be honest with you, at the start of the game, and Jason Chalmer had given Foxdale a lead, but then it all sort of went mental for a few minutes, because it was 1-1, an own goal. It was just couldn't be helped. The defender went to clear the ball and unfortunately kicked it against one of his fellow players, went in the back of the net to make it 1-1, and then 2 minutes later Ryan Gartland scored a really good goal to make it 2-1 to St George's, and then you could see St George's then start to flow. 2 minutes later Chris Bass got his first of the game to make it 3-1, and it was great football. Ed Cannig who picked the ball up in the midfield, played it out to Chris, who was on the left-hand side, and boom, he put it over the top of the keeper to make it 3-1. And then Ryan Gartland got one from a shot, it was just before half-time, to make it 4-1, looking pretty comfortable. And then in the start of the second half, it was Michael Hughes. Haven't seen him before, Ben. Like the look of him, good player. And he finished off one to make it 5. And then some good work down the right-hand side, and it was Dave, I think Dan, it was Levine, who got the cross in, and Chris Bass was there to finish it off to make it 6. Then Michael Hughes probably scored the game, or the goal of the game, because it was a belter. Came out to his sort of left-hand side, and he just struck it so well, and into the net it went to make it 7-1. Foxdale did get a penalty towards the end. Johnny Myers adjudged to have handballed it. Probably right decision, but just half hard really. I think Johnny couldn't get out of it, and Ricky Newsham, who got booked in the first half, stepped up to take it and put it past the keeper. But to be fair, Ben wasn't far away, Ben Wilkinson, and 7-2 it finished. So a little bit of pressure, relief for St George's, because it's a big result for them. and Foxdale will be just hoping that when they get one or two players back from injury, that'll give them a massive lift. But today they were second best, they knew that, and St George's were at their best, so well done to Geordies.
Absolutely. We will have a look at the league tables in a bit after we've gone through all the results. Let's look at the next game, which was Ayr United against Russian. Ayr United dropping points again. Ayr United 1, Russian 3.
Yeah, 3 defeats in recent games, wasn't it? Sean Kelly got a goal for Ayr United, but today for Russian, absolutely flying. And they'll be kicking themselves a little bit because they conceded a goal, because when you look at the last 2 games that they've had, scoring plenty and keeping clean sheets. Cameron Dudley got one, Aaron Hawley on the score sheet as well, Jamie Cadwallader got the other one, but a big injury for Russian United, because Cameron Dudley dislocated his shoulder in the second half, so not too long how he'll be out, because sometimes he can pop it back in and not too much swelling and play again. He's a young lad, so he'll be all right. But Cameron, if you're listening, speedy recovery, mate, because you're flying at the moment, scoring plenty of goals. Great result for Russian United against Ayr.
Absolutely, and yeah, best wishes to that player involved. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery. Onken 0, St Mary's 5.
Yeah, and St Mary's in this one, it was Mark Wolfenden with one, an own goal, was it, or Darren Smethurst? We'll get that checked. Therese Thompson got a goal. Joe Burquist on the score sheet as well, and Owen Canoper. So fair game for St Mary's, and Onken will be disappointed with that, because against St Mary's they just thought they might be able to sneak a point, but it's gone all the points to St Mary's with that 5-0 victory.
Plenty of goals in Laxey. Laxey 5, Moran 3.
Yeah, it certainly was. And Eric Hill, once again, hat-trick for him last week. Well, there's a bit of an argument going on here, and I'll let them sort it out. But the official stance is that Eric Hill's only going to be awarded 2 of the goals. So I'll let them thrash it out, because the officials have said it was an own goal for the other one. It was Jack Keelan got one and George Burrows. But for Moran, it was Joey Rothwell with the first, I think it was, and Alex McQuarrie got the second. And it was picked as game of the day, this one there today. There's an award for this, and David Reynolds was judged to have had a man of the match performance at the back for Laxey, and it was possibly 1 or 2 players. You'd look at Eric Hill, he scored 2 goals, maybe 3, as I say, we'll let them sort that out, but it was Dave Reynolds just got the head on that one for the man of the match, so congratulations to him.
Ramsey against St John's United, that was postponed. That was due to an unfit pitch, we believe.
Yeah, fair play to Ramsey, and it's worth touching on this one, because the boys were out all morning and early afternoon as well, just trying to get it ready for next week. But today they just tried everything they could. They kept us focused with what was going on, and unfortunately the pitch, they couldn't get it right because the rain that came down, I think it was Thursday night, just caused too many problems. But we'll get that slotted in. But Ramsey have got a big cup game next week against Ramsey Youth Centre now.
Absolutely. Peel 6, Union Mills 2.
Big result that for Peel, and 1 or 2 old hands coming in. Daniel Bell, I believe, was one of them. Dan Lace in as well. But no doubt about it, it was the first 8 minutes where all the hard work was done. Peel were 2-0 up within 8 minutes. Thomas Brown were 2, and then Thomas Brown got another 2 goals. So at half time, I believe it was 4-0 to Peel. Thomas Brown scoring them all. And incredibly, 37 goals he's scored so far this season, so absolutely flying. He's had a bit of a barren spell, but certainly today he was on fire. Paul Whitehead got the other one. Thomas Brown got another goal in the second half as well. It was Matthew Milligan and Jack Murray who got the goals for Union Mills.
Brilliant. Looking at Arden and Drugan Division 2, Maloo against Castletown, that was postponed. That was due to an unfit pitch.
Yep.
And so we look at Governors Athletic against Colby. Governors Athletic 2, Colby 7.
Yeah, and they've got to keep the pressure on at the top of the table here, Colby, because, OK, you've got Braddon and Old Boys who are sort of running away with it a little bit, but they're still in with a chance, because those 3 points today lifts them 1 point behind Ramsey Youth Centre in third place. But it was Carl Hickey again, star of the show. He got a hat-trick. Nick Clegg got one. Stuart Clegg got one. David Cordwell and Kieran Horrocks. So a good performance. Haven't got Governors Athletic scorers.
Douglas Royal 2, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys 5.
Yeah, and they keep chipping away, Ramsey Youth Centre, don't they? In third place for them. And as I say, on 29 points now, which was equal to Douglas High School Old Boys. But they do have played 2 games more than Douglas High School Old Boys, but certainly today it was Declan Cowan in midfield. Declan Cowell, in midfield got 2 of the goals. Ross Crawford got his second hat-trick in 2 weeks, so well done to him. Great result, haven't got Royal scorers.
Pulrose United 2, Douglas and District 0.
Yeah, Pulley were 1-0 up at half-time. James McGinn with the goal in the first half, and then it was Callum Dunn who got the second goal for Pulrose, and Pulrose now go on to 19 points and join Douglas Royal also on 19.
Okay, let's have a look at Canada Life Combination 1. Russian United against Ayr. That was postponed. Ayr unable to field the team. So let's look at the big game here. And you said, Tony, that this was a big one. St Mary's 3, Onken 2.
Yeah, and when I put my prediction in last night, I was thinking about Onken, because I keep thinking that there's got to be a defeat somewhere along the line here, because they've been absolutely flying. They'd only lost 1 up until lunchtime, but today they just found it too difficult for them. And St Mary's, it was Kieran Jockum with the first, Chris Dowling got 1, and Danny Orrs I've got here as the third goal scorer. I haven't got Onken's goal scorers, but that's big disappointment, because that now allows Russian, with being awarded that game against Ayr United, they now go on 39 points, so they go top of the league. Onken are on 36, and just behind them are Ramsey on 31, and Ramsey have a game in hand as well. So, yeah, disappointed day for Onken in the office.
Marown 1, Laxey 6.
Yeah, I haven't got Laxey scorers, but for Marown, it was Callum Clegg who got the goal.
St John's United against Ramsey, that was postponed due to pitch
yep.
again. So we look at Union Mills against Peel, and if you were at this game, you definitely had entertainment here. Union Mills 4, Peel 5.
Yeah, right, humdinger. I don't know who got the goals for Union Mills, but certainly for Peel it was Joe Krukol. He got 2 of them. Ryan Tate. Now, you'll probably remember last week Ryan Tate actually played in goal for Peel's first team. Well, today he played outfield for the combination, because Owen Dawson took the number 1 jersey for the first team today for Peel. But Ryan, I'd stay outside, mate, because he got 2 of the goals, and Toby Little got the other one. So good performance by the young team of Peel, beating Union Mills 5-4.
When that score came in, I did recognise him, and I thought, I'm sure he was in goal last week.
Yeah, he was. Well, I had the double take, but luckily the information came through and said he played in goal last week. So, yeah, it just covered my back, because when I saw it, maybe there's 2 players with the same name, but it wasn't.
No, at least it's not just me that thinks that. Arden and Druggen Combination 2. Let's look at Douglas Athletic against Douglas High School and Old Boys. 3-1 to Douglas Athletic. Yeah,
good result for Athletic. They look very strong today, all reports. Chris Coxon it was who got the goal for Old Boys. If you could text us through, please, 166 177. We'll give Douglas Athletic scorers a mention.
Yes, absolutely. So 166 177 on the text, or again on WhatsApp, and we will get them out to you. Colby against Governors Athletic, that was postponed. Governors Athletic not able to field a team in that one.
Yep, that's right. And, those 3 points now will be awarded to Colby, which keeps them still at the top of Combination 2's title race.
Let's look at Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys against Douglas Royal. Ramsey Youth Centre Old Boys today have definitely had their Weetabix 11-0 winners.
Well, they're flying, and when you look at they've still got a game in hand on Colby, so we'll just have to wait and see how that unfolds. But the points difference is quite big, because Colby have got 46 points now, and Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys have got 35. So there's an awful lot to do, but today they did it in style, didn't they? And Jordan Krippner with 3 of the goals. Noah Sale got a hat-trick. Sam Lithgow, Dylan Brown got 2. Brody Colshaw got 1, and David Arthur got the other one. So a cracking result. Don't know what the half-time score was, but 11-0 at the end.
Douglas and District 1, Pulrose 3.
Yeah, and Glenn Horsfield, his first goal for his club. So well done, Glenn, because I know Glenn. So just make sure that Rob makes you a nice meal tonight, because you deserve it scoring. You've played football for a long time, and D&D are lucky to have you there today, because he got the goal, but for Pulrose it was Callum Goldsmith, he got 1, and Aaron Livesey got 2 goals for Pulrose, so a good result for them.
And then the final result, and we were looking for this one, Michael United against Jims. Have we got it? Or are we
No,
still
we
looking?
haven't. Nothing come through yet.
Okay, so 166177 on the text if you have that result. Let's have a look at the league tables then, Tony. Let's go back to the start. Let's look at Canada Life Premier League and let's have a look at that league table.
Yeah, and when you look at it now, it's quite interesting because these teams play 24 games at the end of the season, and you've got Union Mills there have played 20. So you've got four games to go, so they must be having some free weeks coming up somewhere because usually we finish the league, or supposed to, the end of March. There's an awful lot of games to go, but Peel are top, who have played 17 for 40. Corinthians now are 3 points behind them. They're on 37 points, played 17. Ayr United, who did have, sort of 2 games in hand on Corinthians, they've just used one up today. So now they are 6 points behind Corinthians. So that was a costly defeat today. You've got Ramsey, who have played 18 for 28. You've got Laxey for played 18 for 31. St Mary's have played 18 for 30. And then Union Mills in 7th place played 20 for 26. Foxdale then come up in 8th place. They've played 15 for 23. And 2 points behind them is St John's, who have also played 15 games. Russian United now played 17 for 23. So they go just above St John's. And then the big problem area at the bottom of the Canada Life Premier League. Now it's St George's are in 11th place, who have played 17 for 14. 2 points behind them now is Onchan, played a game more on 12 points. And then at the foot of the table, not looking good, is Marown, who have played 18 games for 3 points.
So it's getting right down to the nitty-gritty part of the season now, where pretty much points are crucial in every game.
Well, exactly. And, when you look at it, the top of the Canada Life Premier League, you've got teams 10 points difference from 1st to 6th. So it's all to play for, and there's some big games coming up. We've got the ECAP FA Cup next week, but it's the foot of the table because Russian, under a little bit of pressure, I thought, and with the 9 points that they've gained over the last 3 games, absolutely terrific. And now they're well and truly, I think, out of the danger zone. But still a little bit of pressure on there, St George's, but from what I saw today, Ben, I don't think they're going to get involved in it. So it definitely looks as if it could be Onchan and Moran, but anything could happen.
Absolutely, we'll wait and see how it all develops. Let's look at Division 2 and Combination 1, how things looking in their leagues.
Yeah, Division 2, Braddon didn't play today. They're top, have played 14 for 35. Then behind them is Douglas High School Old Boys, played 13 for 29. Moved up 3 points alongside Old Boys now is Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys. They've played 15. And Castletown are in 4th place, played 14 for 25. But, Colby picking up those 3 points, that lifts them a little bit as well. But when you look at the bottom 3 teams in that league, you've got Governors, who have got 8 points. You've got just below them, Maloo have got 7. And then at the foot of the table, Douglas and District, who've got those solely 2 points.
And in Combination 2?
We'll go Combi 1. We've got Onchan, who are now in 2nd place, as we said before. Russian have gone above them on 39. We'll give you the top 4 on this. So Onchan goes 2nd. Then we got Ramsey, who've got a lot of games to play. They've only played 13 on 31. And then we've got St John's, who have got 29 points from 17 games. And in Combination 2, you can easily remember who's leading this one. Colby, as we said before, got 46 points from 17 games. And then you've got just below them, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys on 35, Old Boys on 31. And then completing the top 4 is Braddon on 29.
Brilliant, Tony. Thanks for all that. Well, big news that did come out in the week, and we touched on it last night in Friday Preview, but we'll look at it a bit more now in depth. The appointment of Chris Bass, and I'll hand the reins over to you now.
Yeah, it's a great appointment because, as we all know, Blaine Slattery had to stand down due to work commitments and family life as well, to be fair, because it's a volunteer role. There's an awful lot to do with the Island Games coming up in Orkney in the second week in July. It just didn't fit Blaine's diary, so we had to think on our feet pretty quickly. And I'm delighted to say that Chris Bass Jr. was up for the job, and he's taken it on and already had his first training session on Wednesday, so he's not wasting any time. But alongside him, it is a team effort. You need a team to run this national team, and Rick will come in and he'll go alongside him as coach. And Rick's an absolutely fantastic coach to have in there. And then you got Matthew Woods, who'll come in as assistant coach, and manager. So it's just a team effort. Now it'll be up to Chris to see if he can maybe tweak with the squad that he's got there. But the players that he's got there in there are already pretty strong. But there's one or two just coming back from injury. One's returning back from holiday, a 3-month holiday, lucky man. And it's all down to them to see what they can sort out. But yeah, it's great that we've got it in place quickly. And the boys' training and everything else will continue, all in preparation for that Island Games tournament.
Absolutely, and of course FC Isle of Man are at home this evening. Unfortunately, there is no live commentary this evening on Manx Radio due to operational reasons. So if you were hoping to hear commentary, unfortunately it isn't going to happen following the conclusion of this show. But looking ahead to that game, Tony, how do you see that one going?
Well, I don't know if you heard it last week, but Rob was pretty excited, to be honest with you.
I think Rob nearly lost his voice last week.
Exactly, because it was coming up to 90 minutes. We thought it was all sort of done and dusted, but they had other ideas. Jacob Crookett was who got the first goal. Nice finish by him. The ball just came out nicely and he just booted it. That's the easiest way to explain it. He wasn't not much technique. He just lashed out at it and he got it in. But then when they equalised a couple of minutes later, you thought, well, okay. And all the disappointment set in. You could just see that the boys thought they were going to get the 3 points. But Steve Whitley had different ideas. And when Steve put that second goal in, it was just manic. The crowd went absolutely berserk. And the team did as well. And you could see the faces had gone from doom and gloom to that second goal, all high and high fives and everything. So well done to them. Big lot of changes tonight. I'm looking forward to listening to this one a little bit. But, one or two players I think have been playing really well. Tom Creer as well, Nathan Little, given the opportunity. Jao Marquez, who got the 4 goals last week against Peel. Credit to them for getting themselves in that squad, and looking forward to hear how the game goes tonight.
And I've just got the team news. Literally, it's just come in, the team news for FC Isle of Man. And your starting 11 for FC Isle of Man is Adam Killier, Danny Gerrard, Jacob Crooks, Alex Maitland, Ronan McDonald, Steve Whitley, Sam Baines, Luke Booth, Dean Pennington, Charlie Higgins and Jack McVeigh. And the subs are Harley Jackson, Jao Marquez, Tom Creer, Sean Doyle returns on the bench, and Nathan Little.
Yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see Sean back, and also Harley Jackson's been playing really well for St Mary's, and just Jack McVeigh last week. He looked so composed with Alex Maitland. The two of them look really good together. Now I didn't hear Dan Cherry in there, so I take it he's not playing. So Ronan will probably play on that right hand side. Jacob on the left hand side. But Danny Gerrard I thought did well in the game last week as well, but just a little bit of how can I say, technical flair in there. Charlie Higgins, Dean Pennington, they're special, and you've got Steve Whitley in there as well, so it's all to play for. But it's quite interesting that one or two players have been given this opportunity tonight to play in that game, and let's just hope that the scoreline goes well, and then Paul will be brave and put them subs on and give them some game time. Be good.
Absolutely, Tony. Well, Tony, I'm going to let you go. Thank you very much for your company this evening and your analysis, and we will speak to you next week.
Manx Radio Sport.
Okay, so we're going to now go to rugby, and we are going to say a very good evening to Dave Christian. Now, Dave, before we start, were you behind all the art on Vagabond's Facebook page?
I'm many things, Ben, but Artie is definitely not one of them. So no, it's about my standard, I think. But I think it was very clever. The childish cartoon type drawings, some great caricatures of the players, and you could actually recognise the player from the key features that had been put into the drawings. So
they were very
nice
well detailed. Very well
Indeed.
detailed. I'll hand it over to you, Dave.
Yeah, 3 games today locally. We've got another one tomorrow. Southern Nomads in the Cheshire Bowl semi-final away at Coldy. We'll pick that one up over the weekend and get something out on manxradio.com. The games today, the top of the chart, I guess, was in Regional 2 Northwest. That was Douglas against Burnage. Douglas had lost 45-27 away at Burnage. They felt, though, that the playing records were very similar, and they were, but today didn't quite go Douglas's way. They led 12-10 at half-time, but in the second half, Burnage came back and closed it out 25-17. No scorer information. My regular source, the Douglas coach, Phil Kringle, he was actually playing the game today, so I'm sure he'd be caught up in the after-game festivities. The result leaves Douglas in 8th place in the standings. Their nearest rivals are Altrincham, Kersal and Widnes. They both suffered big defeats this afternoon. And next week, Douglas have a home tie against bottom club Eccles. And that could give them a good chance, or another good chance, at claiming as high as 6th place in the standings. So good luck for Douglas next week. I haven't checked the fixture list yet, but there's a good chance we could be there for Saturday Live for that one. Up at Ballafletcher, a little bit different for Vagabonds. They lost by over 70 points away at Clitheroe earlier on in the season, but this time a little bit different. 14-12 the final score, game tied 7-7 at half time, and after 50 minutes, Vagabonds actually led 12-7, so really nip and tuck stuff up there at Ballafletcher. Matty Jones got the try for Vaggers after 15 minutes to put them in front. Daniel Bomwick converted. Pete Mitchell equalised just before half-time for Clitheroe, and that left everything all square at 7-7. In the second half, Cal Donnell put Vaggers in front, but a Tony Jackson try for Clitheroe sealed the deal 15 minutes from the end. Vaggers also lost Archie Benson and Leo Marquez today with injuries. Leo Marquez potentially a broken cheekbone that could keep him out for a while. No news as yet on Archie Benson, but we wish them both full and speedy recoveries. At the Mirrock Park, I was expecting, and probably wrongly so, I was expecting quite an easy win for Ramsey against Western Vikings in the Manx Shield. The final score, Ramsey 51, Western Vikings 22. But it was a tough game. Vagabonds Ramsey stormed into an early lead, 20-0, after 25 minutes. But Vikings hit back, and at half-time, there was a 3-point game, 2017, before Ramsey closed out in the second half. The scorers for Ramsey in the first half, Josh Coutine, Adam Clark, Tom Moffat and Ben Hardman, all went over in the first 25 minutes. But Vikings come back with a brace for the skipper, Ed Knight, and either side of a Dewan Collister try. Ollie Howard converted one of those, and that's what made it nip and tuck at half-time. In the second half, though, my man of the match, Connor Goodall, he went in for 2 tries in the opening 8 minutes of the second half, both well taken. Scott Neal then picked one up, Brandon Atchison and Ramsey captain Matthew Meakin. They all added further tries to push the game well beyond Western Vikings. Gus Stander picked up a late consolation try for Western Vikings. That gave them 4 tries for the match, which gives them a bonus point in the league standings. But there's only been 2 matches played so far, so it's early days for that just yet. But congratulations to Western Vikings. That was a great performance, particularly that first half, and they deserved the plaudits they got after the game. Ben.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Dave, and we will speak to you next week.
Manx Radio Sport.
Okay, let's have a look at TT action, and Dave O'Johnson is really looking forward to returning to the TT this year, despite his big crash that he had last year at the event. The Australian returns to the Isle of Man for his second year in his Plymouth Club Kawasaki race. He's been speaking to Dave Moore earlier this week.
Well, I'm doing heaps of riding out here in Australia while it's summertime. I just taking advantage of that while we still can, and I'll kind of come back to the UK quite late this year, just because last year I came over in early March, and every single test apart from the one we did in Spain, every single test got cancelled because it was like so cold. And even in Spain, it was cold, like 5 laps in at Almeria, and couldn't feel my fingers. So I might as well just stay out here as long as I can. and ride every sort of second weekend. So yeah, and then hopefully do some. Well, not confirmed yet, but I mean, definitely test days in England when I get back in April. But I'm not sure about any BSBs yet, but I'm hoping we do.
But you will be at the Northwest and then the TT.
Yes, that's definitely, yeah. So Northwest will be the first biggie, so we'll get prepared for that. Last year the Northwest wasn't the greatest for us, so it was a lot of stuff going on internally. We're just getting the bikes set up, and because we did miss a lot of testing, like I said, due to the weather. Because there's no point in us going to a track day when it's rain, because obviously our main objective is to ride in the dry at the TT. So yeah, we were pretty unprepared at Northwest, but the TT was going good until disaster struck.
Yeah, we'll just talk quickly about that. The fact that you had such a big crash, is it kind of in the back of your mind going into this year? And also, have you fully recovered?
Yeah, I fully recovered. It was only injuries weren't bad at all, considering how big the crash was. I ended up, it was confirmed later that I did 4 ribs. My collarbone was the standout one, and just a hole in my knee, which is still causing me a bit of grief. But and yeah, sort of I got wires in my knee from a crash in 2016 at the Ulster, and the wires come loose, so it sort of sticks up, and it's yeah, it's not real good for the skin. Like it keeps rubbing on my leathers and stuff, but. I'll get that out eventually, but that's minor issues. But I'm fully mentally recovered because it was a bike. Something went wrong with the bike, so aftermarket component. I won't go into it too much, but yeah, no fault of my teams or myself. So it was it was obviously a big one. But once I found out that it wasn't my fault or the teams, it was pretty easily to overcome mentally.
And for this year, then, what equipment are you going to have with you? You got brand new bikes or last year's equipment, 600s, 1000s? What's the deal?
Well, yeah, the new super bike and super stock, but not sure about 600 yet. We're trying to work it out with the team. I think they've got one there, but it's pretty much a stock 600, 67. What do you call it? 636. But yeah, we're trying to work it out with the team to see if we can get the budget to spend on that, because obviously they're like miniature super bikes these days, the old super sport bikes. But definitely, yeah, no super bike, no super stock. I'm a big bike guy anyway, so yeah, that's my my sort of preferred animal, really. So we're just if we go to 600, it's just a bonus. But yeah, no super bike, super stock, so we'll be good to go.
Finally, then, what is it about the Isle of Man TT that keeps bringing you back?
Well, just the excitement, the adrenaline, the people. There's loads of stuff. It's something that I just now know that I can't live without.
It's great to hear that he's looking forward to being back with us in TT 2025. Dave O'Johnson there, speaking to Dave Moore. Hockey next.
Manx Radio Sport.
And let's look at the Men's Premier League in Manx Hockey. And the first one we have is Castletown A3, Valkyries B1. Ned McGregor, Andrew Winstanley and Archie Cox giving the Southerners the 3 goals there over Russ Miller's one for Valkyries B, giving Castletown A that win in the Men's Premier League. The big game, though, at the NSC, 2:05, was between Backers A and Vikings A. We knew it was going to be close, and indeed it lived up to its name. Andrew Whiting with the only goal of the game, giving Backers A 1-0 lead over the reigning champions Vikings A. So that is going to be a huge result for Backers A. For Vikings A, though, they know that they're going to have to get them back when they meet each other in the second round when they play each other. In the other fixture, Harlequins A3, Valkyries A1. Harlequins A getting one back over Valkyries A after losing narrowly in the last minute last weekend when they met in the Cup. Neil Jacobs for Valkyries A, and then for Harlequins A, it was Elliot Henson, Alfie Swales and Liam Taverner. Looking at the Ladies Premier League, and Castletown Ladies A, they keep their spot at the top of the league. Evie Watson with 2 goals and Hannah Leese with a goal. giving Castletown A, a 3-0 win over Valkyries A. In the other fixtures, we look at Vikings A against Backers A. What a game this was. 4-2 to Vikings A. Molly Wheeler, Mia Greenwood and Danny Murphy with 2 goals, giving Vikings that 4-2 win. Sophie Hudson and Emma Cortes with goals each for Backers A just wasn't enough to give them the chance to get one over Vikings A. We look at the other games as well. Harlequins A against Ramsey A. This was a huge game down at the bottom of the Ladies Premier League, and it's Harlequins who come away with the point. They won by 3-0. Emily Middleton, Hannah Nuttall and Ella Blakemore all on the score sheet for Harlequins. In men's Division 1, the top 2 met in the early game at 11:05 at the NSC. It was going to be a close one, and it lived up to it, and they could not be split. Craig Lees for Backers B and Jacob Harding for Vikings B, giving a 1-1 draw, so they could not be split at the top of the league. Castletown B against Harlequins B, that was a 3-0 win to Castletown B. Brian Falls-Jones, Zach Hughes and Rich Tarr giving them the 3-0 win over Harlequins. And then the Northerners, Ramsey A got a 6-0 win over Backers C. Alfie Mellor, Jordan Parkinson, Connor Parfitt, Dan Hurd, Ollie Brew and Tom Howard, all with goals each, giving the Northerners the win over Backers C. In Ladies Division 1, the huge game at the top of the league at 11:05 between Castletown B and Valkyries B. It was so close, but Castletown came away with it. Kira Kelly and Eden McCubbin with goals each over Valkyries. Mazar Smith's goal, giving the Castletown B their 2-1 win over Valkyries B. In the Castletown derby, though, Castletown C 1, Castletown D 2 is the shock of the day. Castletown D getting one over their C team. Jade Lee Marr with both goals for Castletown D and Sophie Vivian for Castletown C. What a huge result that could be coming near the end of the season. And then the late pushback in this division was Backers B against Vikings B. That was a 5-0 win for Backers B. Sharon Pope with 2 goals and Ellie Pierce-Bass with a hat-trick. In men's Division 2, and this is the game I umpired this afternoon at the NSC at 12:35, was between Valkyries C and Vikings C. What a game it was. 4-4 it finished. Chris Thomas with 2, Lucas Carone with 1, and Mike Fowles with 1 for Valkyries. And for Vikings C, it was Richie Gelder, Henry Stewart, Bruce Gimbert, and Josh Knight, all with goals each. The two sides just could not be split. It was end-to-end stuff, and the two sides just could not be split. In the other game, Backers Colt against Castletown C, that was a 2-1 win to Backers Colt. Neil Cartwright and Ollie Partons with the goals for Backers Colt, and we are just having a look now at the goal scorer for Castletown C, which has just come through. Many thanks for the message, and that was Joe Shuttleworth for Castletown C. In Ladies Division 2, Harlequins B against Ramsey B. Ramsey B come away with the points in this game. They won by 4-1. Eleanor Hunter with the goal for Harlequins B, and then for Ramsey B, it was Gail Corrin with 2, Lucy Ballard with 1, and Georgia Smith with 1 as well, giving Ramsey that 4-1 win. In the other games, Valkyries C hit 8 past Castletown E today. Abby Callow with a hat-trick, Maddie Hughes with 2, Helena Freer with 1, Kira Buchanan with 1, and Poppy Kelly with 1 for Valkyries, and the consolation coming from Georgia Markreel for Castletown E. And then the other game in this division, which was Vikings C against Backers C. Backers C conceded their first loss of the season. They lost by 2-1. Shibi Coles and Emily Gaylor for Vikings C, and then for Backers C it was Alice Kameen. In the mixed under-15s league, we had the early game in Ramsey, which was Harlequins against Ramsey Rogues and Rascals. That was a 5-1 win to Harlequins. Aidan Leese with 3, Callum Leese with 1. So Aidan Leese has clearly got the bragging rights in that household tonight, with Sam Neto getting the goal for the other goal for Harlequins, with Daisy Little getting the consolation for Ramsey. In the other game, Castletown Sabres against Valkyries. That was a 7-2 win to Valkyries. Scarlett Crompton Harvey and Adam Eels with the goals for Castletown Sabres. And I think we've just had the scorers in. Yes, we have. We've just had the scorers in for Valkyries under 15s. Many thanks for that. And that was Poppy Kelly with 2, Ryan Thomas with 1, Harley Lewis with 1, Rhea Mars with 2, and giving them their victory there. And then the other game, which is currently in play as we speak, is Backers under 15s against Vikings under 15s. That game is currently in play at King William's College, and we will bring you that result when we get it to you, and when we publish all the results from today's classified results on Manx Radio's Facebook page. Of course, we have island teams as well away this weekend for representing the island for hockey. We really wish them the best of luck, and we hope that they can come back with the goods.
Manx Radio Sport.
So that just about concludes classifieds and full-time for today. But first, we're going to leave you with the headlines. In Canada Live, Men's Premier League wins for St George's, Russian United, St Mary's, Laxey and Peel. In Arden Drugan Division 2, Governors Athletic concede 7 to Colby, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys get 5 past Douglas and Royal, and Pulrose get 2 past Douglas and Diff. In Combination 1, St Mary's beat Onken by 3-2, Laxey beat Marown, and Union Mills just lose out to Peel 5-4. In Arden Drugan Combination 2, wins for Douglas Athletic, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys, and Pulrose United. We are still looking for that Michael United against Jim score. If you have it, 166-177. In Regional 2 Northwest in rugby, Douglas concede by 25 points to 17. In counties, ADM's Lancs and Cheshire, Vagabonds just lose out by 14 points to 12. And in the Manx Shield, Ramsey win by 51-22 over Western Vikings. In the hockey, Men's Premier League, Castletown A win by 3-1, Harlequins win by 3-1, and Backers A take the big one by 1-0. And in the Ladies Premier League, wins for Castletown A, Vikings A and Harlequins A. Men's Division 1, the top two couldn't be split, a 1-1 draw. Elsewhere though, Castletown B win by 3-0 and Ramsey A win by 6. Ladies Division 1, Castletown A, B win the big one by 2-1. Castletown D get one over Castletown C, and Backers C win by 5-0 over Vikings B. Men's Division 2, Backers Colts win by 2-1, and Vikings C against Valkyries C, a 4-4 draw. Ladies Division 2, wins for Ramsey B, Valkyries C, and Vikings C. And finally, in the mixed under-15s, wins for Harlequins and Valkyries, with the late pushback, Backers v Vikings B. And that concludes Classifieds for February the 1st. Thank you so much for your company and your analysis. Big thank you to Dave Christian and Tony Mepham, as always, for their input and their analysis. They'll return next week on Full Time and Classifieds. And don't forget, all these scores will be on Manx Radio Sports website for you to have a read of. Thank you so much for your company this evening. I've been Ben Cunningham. I hope you have a really good rest of your evening and your weekend, and whatever you're up to, stay safe out there and enjoy it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll speak to you all again very soon. Good evening.
Manx Radio Sport.